My name is Jamari. Some of you may know me as Mari. Some of you may know me as Miles. This is my story. I'm 21. I was born in Virginia and I was raised in Georgia all my life. I love everything everything creative, everything under the sun, whether it's clothes, whether it's colors, drawing. I was always a really artistic, very kind of aloof kid. So creating and just like making art in whatever way it came to me was just like how I coped, how I kind of just got through like those grueling years of like being a kid and being a preteen and being a teen, and now here we are, 21, grown as hell, and still, finding our way back to art, or art finding its way back to me. One of them. What kind of like brought on the I don't even want to say it's an alternate ego, or necessarily, because like Miles Bentley is a whole nother person with a completely different business. Jamari sits at home, watches TV, listens to Beyonce, that type. But Miles is a character. Miles is kind of someone I created to just like separate, my personal life from like creating and whatever. If I introduce myself to you as Miles, then that's who I want you to see me as. Whereas if you meet Jamari, if you know Mari, and then you know me for real. But Miles was like a person I could use to kind of like my business hat, kind of like my, all right, like we're in grind mode. I am very much so Miles. I am embodying him today. And he means business. And I just think because my personality is so like opposite from that, like I joke around and I play, but for the most part, I like to think that I'm a very like nice, kind of like softer individual or whatnot. And Miles is like that. He kind of gives me that ability to say, this is what I want to see. This is what I don't want to see. This is what I like. This is what I don't like. And hey, if he says it, then it ain't nothing I can do about it. And like I said, it just helps me like separate, what I'm doing and who I am. And everything that kind of led up to Miles and his conception, I've always liked the name Miles, but the Bentley part came from my grandma. So me and my great grandmother, we actually like share the same birthday. Like her birthday is April 23rd, and we act like that. Like it's cool. Like she's a Taurus. She's like literally me, but like 55 years ago. So her maiden name used to be Bentley. And I'm like, I've always liked the name Miles. Miles Miller, Miles what fits? And I was just like, Bentley, like, what? Like, you hear the name Miles Bentley, like that means something. Like, who is he? Who is this guy? But that's how I got like the last name. Like, I was just like, what better way to like kind of honor my twin than, than taking her name. And I think it's so cool because we're in such like a male dominated atmosphere and like society. What better way than to have my grandma's maiden name behind Miles, and then have all these accolades and awards and all this stuff under like a name that wasn't even taken. So I think it's kind of like poetic justice in a sense. I like to think so. It might not be that deep to other people. So just in September, I went to New York Fashion Week. I got to experience the city, all the, different like parts and stuff. I met amazing people, and I knew what I was going there to do. It was a big deal because like I eventually plan on moving to New York. So just seeing that there and seeing that specific week, like I said, Fashion Week, fashion is a big thing for me. Seeing all that for the first time ever, it's like, oh, like I want more. Like I have to get this again. And it's so crazy because growing up in the woods, growing up where it's only one gas station, a Peach Shed, and a Dollar General for the next 17 miles, you have to have something like that to hold on to. And I think a big part of my work says like, yeah, like I'm from the country, I'm from the woods, and I'm also going to get out of the country and get out of the woods. So whenever I do finally make it or whatnot, I see what I came from, and I see what I've kind of kept with me the entire time. Like I think some of my very first pictures were we're very, very kind of like Southern Gothic. I'm a big American Horror Story fan. Shout out Kevin. And I love that, like that eeriness of it, but I like that eeriness of it. And you know, you kind of find the beauty in the woods and in the country or whatnot. And it just like, it shows you like, yeah, terrible past or whatnot, but that's part of you. Your people were on these same lands. Your people, they set roots down. They set a foundation for you. The least you could do it, well, not the least you can do, but the least that I'm going to do is I'm gonna show it. I'm gonna show people just kind of what type of art comes out of here, comes out of the South, comes out, shout out 229, whatever, but comes out of like this area, and show, you know, the kids behind me and even some of the kids before me, like they're not kids, they're adults, but even some of the people before me, you can make it out doing whatever your heart's desire. You can make it out doing whatever you want to do. Just stick to it. And, you know, put the footwork in, put the legwork in. A big thing for me and what I'm doing is I want to show like the little kids who grew up in the country, their grandparents are farmers type. Like I want to show them that you can have whatever you want. The world's yours. I don't care what anybody else has said, but like you can be whoever you want to be. And me coming from such a rural and like, what's that word? Isolated area. Like how am I gonna like showcase this? How am I gonna get out and, you know, take this elsewhere and then bring it back? I originally started off as a creative director. I put my first 2 shoots together. They were shot by Kia Money Roach, a big friend of mine, one of my favorite photographers ever. Kind of taught me a good bit of what I know now. He was one of the first photographers that I shot and that just like actually like that kind of helped me like throw myself into this world. And we happen to be in one of the sets now. We did 2. My very, very first one was with my little cousins and my little brother, my little cousin Ari, my little cousin Dylan, and then my little brother Gavin. We shot at my Nana and Papa's house, and it was gorgeous. And that was like one of the first shoots that we ever did or whatnot. And like, I got to pose them. I made sure everything down to the way their hair was parted. I was there. We did a little set. We shot, I posed, and I had exactly what I wanted to see in mind. And I even told Kimani, hey, when you get ready to edit these, I want to be there because I knew I wanted to be involved that much. So we did it. Success. Sorry. It was a success to me. It still is. We shot it, we posted it, it did exactly what it needed me to do. It did exactly what it was supposed to do, which was to get my foot in the door and to kind of like stamp what I was trying to do. Now we're here a year later and I'm like, oh dang, I've been doing this for a minute, but I remember exactly how it started. And I think that's what's so magical about creating is because as long as you have like something to look back on, you can actively see yourself getting better and better and better and better. Next thing you know, you're a big baller shot caller and with like some accolades, with like some weight behind your name. But honestly, if all that's gone, if I have a piece of paper and a pencil, I'm good. And I think all creativity is just kind of like what you have in mind and like seeing a vision or seeing something and just wanting to express it. However you choose to do is your business, but nevertheless, you got to get it out. And what's the point of gatekeeping all that? You're talented, whether you realize it or yet, or whether you know it or not, you have something to offer the world. And I think that's every artist's kind of like goal, like they want to like leave their mark. So eventually I'm gonna be gone or whatnot, and I'll be taking everything that I've learned thus far with me. Hopefully I'm still doing shoots. I'm working on even bigger projects. My very next goal, this short film gotta be out. I feel like that's the only way people will kind of like see exactly, what I've been working on and kind of where my mind has been. And I just like thankful that I have the opportunity, to tell my story and to kind of share, what got me to this point and what I see for myself, because eventually things will be a lot different. And I just hope that I take, a piece of myself or a piece of my fight, my struggle, with me when we ain't struggling no more, when we're making $1 million box office films showcasing stories like mine and the ones that don't get told or the ones that get looked over. And we're putting on for where we came from and where we're coming from. I think it was a specific awards show. I think Andre 3000. What did he say? The South got something to say, and I got something to say. With that being said, my name is Miles Bentley. I'm a filmmaker, photographer, stylist, award-winning actor, model, creative director, anything under the sun. I'm from Morven, Georgia, and this is my story. "72 questions with Miles Bentley." Like, I'm talking like sausage and grits, like every morning. I thought that you can't get that nowhere. My own mama don't do that. Listen, the ones we sell at Publix ain't got nothing on these Georgia grown organic oranges. Live better, people. Want better for yourself.